What is going on? Presented here back with another Honkai Star Rail video. And today I'm here with my first impressions of Fugue. So it's been roughly about 2 days since Fugue did release, and I've been using her a lot, and it's been a big blast using her. Using break characters, non-break characters, making sports super break. It's been such a fun blast so far. And so today I wanted to give my first impressions on using her at E0 and also using her at E1. I did activate my E1 right away, and I did get to use that first, but I also did get to test her out at E0 due to using friends and other accounts. So as an E0 and E1 user, I want to give my first impressions. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Before I get to the video, if you guys find this video helpful or enjoyable in any way, shape, or form, be sure to drop a like on the video. If you're new or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of Star Rail content. Check the description to join the Discord and also my second channel, and let's get straight into the video. So first, let's talk about the build up to Fugue. Was I really hyped about her before and all that such? So I was always a Ting Yun fan. I always found her really cool, and like most others, none of us really expected her to just randomly come back like that. And then eventually, when the rumors were circling around and then the 2.5 thing did happen, or at least I think the story was in the 2.5 update, at the end of the actual Trailblaze continuance, we heard Ting Yun saying her whole comeback. She was like, I'm Ting Yun or something. I can't remember exactly what the quote was, but so we found out she was officially going to come back. And then eventually, obviously with info going around and seeing what she was going to do, once a kit was kind of going around, and especially when she got drip marketed, when I saw she got drip marketed, I was pretty hyped. I wasn't too sure if I was actually going to end up summoning, but I thought her splash art was one of the best in the game, and I think it probably is one of my favorite, if not my favorite splash art in the game. So W drip marketing, and then also when the kit did come out and it was going around and the changes were happening. I'm not the biggest Super Break fan, I never was, and that's further proved by me literally not even E6ing the Trailblazers since practically just a few days ago, where I finally got it because I was bored and I was collecting chests. Finally got a BA that I really did not care for Super Break, so I never pushed to get the E6 Trailblazer. And so I thought she was going to be another Super Break enabler, which I thought was a good thing, but for me personally, I was not too hyped because again, I'm not the biggest break fan. The only form of break I do like using is strictly just boot hill. I'm not the biggest fan of using Rappa, and I'm not a fan of Firefly whatsoever. I never was a Jiaoqiu user in the first place as well. It was just strictly boot hill that I actually really like using. And so we got a kit, we saw that she was going to be a super break enabler, and I was thinking, okay, this is probably going to be replacing the action advanced character on the team, which at the time was Bronya, and now in this case would be Sunday. Personally, I like using boot hill with Bronya more because the action advance just felt better to use. More output could equate to better than bigger numbers. Seeing the super break and hit really high numbers was really cool, but I much prefer just getting the action advance with Bronya and then hitting multiple targets with multiple numbers and also being able to attack more overall. That was just a playstyle I preferred more. And so usually when you ran a action forward team, you didn't run both. You either ran the Harmony Trailblazer or you did run Bronya, and I obviously opted to run Bronya. I have tried with super break and I did with the Harmony Trailblazer, was completely fine, but I just preferred to use Bronya. And then when Sunday came out, then obviously Bronya got replaced, and then I started using Sunday there. So with Fugue being released and her having the new Exo toughness, which we had in an MOC already, and it was practically just that mechanic, I thought she looked really cool, and I knew she was going to be great for people that did enjoy super break. I didn't think she'd be the craziest for Firefly at first, but I at least thought she would work with that, in which I ended up being right. She's not the best, but still really good. And then I didn't really think too much about Rappa at the time, but as time went on, I was thinking, okay, this character is probably going to be insanely good for Rappa. The re-breaks are such an important thing. I think people overlook the fact that you can re-break enemies a lot. The Exo toughness allowing you to re-break is just such a big thing. And so I knew the Exo toughness re-break was going to be a big thing for the actual characters that are going to end up using Fugue, but I really didn't think she was much of a needed thing. And I thought it was kind of going to be an unnecessary release at the time, but then I kind of thought about it, okay, we're eventually going to get another Trailblazer, so eventually Harmony Trailblazer will not always be there, so Fugue is going to be very important in that case, and that's when I shifted my mindset. Lo and behold, Remembrance Trailblazer was announced, and from what we know, they seem insane, so I was practically right there as well. But overall, I was hyped that it was Ting Yun, but I myself did not really plan to summon because I wasn't really interested. And then leading up to the practical last 2-ish days, or the day of Fugue releasing, it came out on the Asia servers and was out on the EU servers at the time when I was looking more into it, but I was seeing a lot of people talking about how good she actually was for boot hill. I thought it was going to be a case, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was just going to be a case where you run Fugue rather than the action advance, which you still most likely would do, since you definitely do not want to replace Rod May, so the team would be more like the same thing you would, but instead of Harmony Trailblazer, it would be Fugue. But a lot of people were bringing up the idea of like, oh, sustainless boot hill is actually extremely powerful. So running Fugue, Ruan Mei, and also running Sunday at the same time time. And I was like, I'm a big sucker for sustainless runs, so I was actually really curious to see if this did work. Seeing people talk about it and all that kind of stuff, I was extremely hyped, and that's when I started considering. And I was also like, oh, I could probably do some other shenanigans with this character as well. If at some other point they release a new break DPS and I actually like them, then this could benefit that in the future as well, assuming she doesn't get power crap. You know, we know Sorrow stuff, it is what it is. So I decided to make the decision, yes, I will get her, and I might even consider the E1 because we do know how broken weakness break efficiency is. Giving 50% weakness break efficiency was just insane. And then we finally get to the banner release. So she did release, I won both 50/50s, upload the video, then in the E1 right away and got to use her with Boothill. That was the first thing I did. Unfortunately, I didn't have the greatest build when I first tried her, but Boothill was cooking, being able to just shred through toughness bars even if they didn't have physical weakness, not really needing the time ultimates anymore either. Still helps to pay attention and actually time the ults, but now you practically can just shred through bars even if they don't have the physical weakness implanted by the ultimate or the technique when you start the battle. It's super insane. It was actually mind-blowing how much better Boothill has become. He was already great. People are like, oh, Boothill's back because of Fugue. No, Boothill never left. Boothill was always good in Apocalyptic Shadow, always was good in MLC pretty much. It's just now he's even better because of what Fugue does. And especially if you're able to run a sustain this comp of having Ruan Mei, having Fugue, and also having Sunday, it's just absolutely mind-blowing how he cooks. So with an E1 Fugue, the dude absolutely just shreds through boss bars, elite bars, and any smaller enemy just gets deleted off the face of the planet. He already deleted the mobs and broke the weakness right away, but now he can guarantee do it and obviously does more damage thanks to Fugue's buffs as well. Fugue also helping with the ultimate, lowering everyone's toughness regardless of type and also doing some pretty good damage because, you know, triggering Super Break is also really nice. And she's been great. And other sources, I've obviously had to use different ways to actually try her with Rappa and Firefly. With Firefly, still really good. Not obviously going to be super optimal. I think Aventurine is still better overall. Still really good to use. And then with Rappa, it's actually insane how good Rappa is now. I'll be honest with you guys, I did not think Rappa was going to get this good. I'm completely wrong for saying Rappa was not going to be that good. With Fugue, she's absolutely insane. It's actually unreal. Personally, still don't like using her too much even with Fugue, but still a really good unit and I will not deny that. And then I've also actually gotten a lot of comments and I've tried a bit myself from you guys saying like, oh, the actual testing with the Acheron and popping the actual Foxian buff onto Aventurine so you can cost by having E2S1. That stuff has actually been going really well for you guys and I've tried it a bit. It's a bit harder for me to test it because, you know, I actually have over an E2 and I also have the light cone for Aventurine. Plus my Acheron is also at E2, so it's a bit more difficult, but I still can definitely see it and a lot of people tell me they get ults even faster and are able to clear even faster and it's actually a really good thing. So it's good to see that she's able to do stuff for Acheron as well. It's actually really fun just making any character turn into a break character because when Harmony Chubbies came out, you were able to turn anyone and you still can turn anyone to a break DPS. You can do the same thing with Fugue, but it's obviously going to be even a little bit more easier, honestly, just because Fugue can provide a bit more buffs when it comes to that kind of stuff or more stuff that's tailored towards it, plus also helping you lower the toughest type and helping you re-break so you can get that big hit. And another thing, but it's harder for me to notice this since my Boothill is E1, but the Exo Toughness is such a good thing for Boothill especially since you are now able to break enemies normally, gain a stack of Pocket Trick Shot, and then you can re-break them with the Exo Toughness and gain another stack of Pocket Trick Shot, which is just absolutely insane. It's something that not many people talk about, but you're able to gain Pocket Trick Shots so fast thanks to the Exo Toughness. So if you're someone that doesn't actually have an E1 Boothill and you don't start off with the right away having the Pocket Trick Shot, and even if you have the E1, you can notice it by just getting it off one enemy, you break them once, you break them again, boom, you're maxed. It's easier for E1 since you start off with one and you're able to just kill it and be on the side and now boom, you have 3 Pocket Trick Shots, assuming you do break and kill them at the same time. But maybe you're fighting in battle that does not actually have the physical weakness and mainly just has elite enemies, you're able to just target that elite enemy, break them, even if they don't have the ultimate physical weakness implant thanks to Fugue letting you lower regardless of type. You break them and then you can break their Exo Toughness again and boom, now you have 2 if you're at E0 and if you're at E1 you have all 3. It's such an insane thing that she can provide for characters like Boothill and Rappa especially. It's just insane how much better they become. Rappa, especially in the current meta, was still really good in Apocalyptic Shadow, Pure Fiction, Memory of Chaos. A lot of stuff has been favoring Break and all that kind of stuff. She was already doing fine, but Rappa definitely was brought to another level thanks to Fugue just giving her so many buffs. Boothill already was a really insane unit, but now he's even more insane thanks to stuff that Fugue can do, especially with the sustainless teams. It's just absolutely unreal and it's such a fun thing to do. So overall, my first impressions, I'm really happy with the way Fugue turned turned out. I'm really happy I was wrong about Rappa not being too great, especially thanks to Fugue now becoming one of the best DPSs in the game currently even. She absolutely cooks, and I'm really happy they actually did really cook on her because I thought she was going to be more niche, but no, she's definitely not niche. Letting you do more than just turn characters into break DPSs, giving you some buffs that can help you do stuff with Acheron, and also enabling teams that might not even really need the super break. Mainly focusing on the buffs that she could give, and also if you have E1, the weakness break efficiency, it could just help you break faster even if it's not the main focus, and then you also have the super break on top of that. So that's going to be a nice thing, and then when it actually comes to the break characters, again, Buto, Rappa have just gone up to be so goddamn powerful. Firefly can still be very, very fantastic with Fugue, but not going to be as big of a buff as it is compared to Buto and Rappa. So yeah, that is my first impressions. I am extremely satisfied. She's not my favorite unit to use overall, but she makes one of my favorite units overall to be used even more fun, which is Buto. Very, very glad I chased the E1. And I honestly forgot to talk about this earlier, but even using them at E0, not having the weakness break efficiency, it's still fine because usually your break character would be able to deal with them easily anyways. And now you have Fugue providing more break effect and again helping you lower it regardless of type. So your teammates were already able to lower enemies and help you with that, and then Fugue herself was able to help you lower it now as well. Even if they're not weak to fire, then you could just pop the ultimate because it can ignore the types regardless, so that's going to help you overall. And then your actual main break DPS to focus or whatever DPS you're doing is still going to be benefiting through that a lot. Since now they have less to focus on and then they can still break and then re-break again. E1, while yes, is probably one of the best dupes in the game that you can go for because weakness break efficiency is so good and you get a whole 50%, which is the equivalent of Ruan main that can actually stack with Ruan Mei's skill where you get so much weakness break efficiency. She is completely perfect at E0. Using her at E0, I did not feel like, oh, I really wish I had the weakness break efficiency. It's a very nice buff on top of what she already does. But just like a lot of other characters, there are dupes that are going to be really good. Like Feixiao can gain stacks even faster with her E2. Does that mean you need it? No, she's still completely fine at E0. Same thing applies with Fugue. Her role is complete at E0. She does everything she wants to do perfectly, and then she just gets that much stronger with dupes. With the E1, you get more weakness break efficiency, which is really good. E2, you can get more energy for your ult and also gain access to an S5 DDD in an Eidolon, which is insane if your tuning is right. She's already complete at E0, gets better with Eidolons. It's a very fantastic design unit at base already, and is completely good at E0 and was really fine to use at E0. But yeah, I just wanted to get out the way because I forgot to talk about E0 real quick, at least specifically. But yeah, that is my first impressions. Once again, if you guys can't tell, I'm extremely satisfied with her performance. Everything they cooked, fantastic unit. I have no regrets thinking last second I'm gonna get it real quick. Was a great pickup on my part. Anyway, if you guys have something for Fugue, let me know if you guys are enjoying her as well. That's all I wanted to say. Peace out.